Kids, listen to your mother.
Mom!
Welcome to Between Us Moms with Katie Crafts-Morg and Hallie Stevens-Drake.
Hi, guys. A quick thing before we get started with today's episode. This podcast is just me and Katie. We edit, we book, we produce it. So when you share this podcast or you share a clip or you join a talk in our Facebook group or you follow us on Substack, it goes such a long way. It means more to us than you could even know. And it helps us keep this podcast going. We have no funding. There's no big podcast network behind us. It's just us trying to build a mama community. So if you love it here, share a moment with a friend or share an episode with a friend so we can keep this thing going. And with that, Katie.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Between Us Moms. Today, we are so thrilled to welcome a mom you probably already love. You likely fell in love with her on Degrassi, The Next Generation, or on the CW's revamp of 90210, which, by the way, was so good. She is now the owner of Two Halves clothing alongside her husband, Josh. She is a favorite on social media because she always keeps it so freaking real. She has a new YouTube series. She's a mom of two. Please welcome Shenae Grimes Beech to the podcast.
Woo!
That intro, that was really nice. I love it. Thank you. I feel like it's really, to have that step back look at all the things that you're doing, because when you're in it, you feel like you're never doing enough, right? So yeah, thank you.
Isn't that the truth, though? We can literally be juggling 15 different balls and feel like, am I doing this? Or like, am I doing enough? Or what else can I add to my plate? And yet you are literally doing the freaking most, and you have done the most in your life, which I feel like is a great place to start this podcast.
The resume is strong.
The resume is so strong. And now you've been so open about like why you took a step back from acting and why you're focusing on your clothing company, Two Halves, and your marriage and your kids. And I think we should kind of just start there. Like, how would you describe life today?
Today, oh my goodness, chaotic, completely chaotic at all times. I feel like I'm in this unique season of life that is not unique whatsoever, as you too can, I'm sure, attest to. When you have kids and you're in that baby toddler bubble that is just all consuming, and then you move out of that chapter and into this other season of motherhood where everyone's lives get a lot fuller. We've got extracurriculars and friends and play dates and grades and all of this stuff. But also it allows for more space for you as a mom to reflect on your life and your identity and your dreams and your goals independent of the family unit. That is just so all-encompassing. So life right now is like so full and so chaotic because we're juggling. My husband got a full-time job. This is the first time. I mean, we're lifelong professional creatives. This is the first time he is like going into an office 9 to 5, 5 days a week. And we're like, hold on, like neither of us know what this life is like. We're like,
Right.
all right, this is different. It's a dynamic shift. And it's required me to just, really be the default parent on a day-to-day for the schedules. My kids are in school now. Their lives have evolved a lot. They're almost 5 and 8. So I have more space to kind of find clarity for myself and revisit what do goals and dreams, look and feel like in this season, and what do I like? How do I want to spend my time, and what makes me happy? What brings me joy? What brings me peace amidst all the chaos? So yeah, it's like an interesting chapter that I'm navigating real time while I'm rambling to you guys about it.
I feel like you were meant to be on this podcast today because I think we needed to hear that there's like life outside of like the toddler baby world, because we are both so deeply engraved in that right now. And it's nice to hear that now you have more time for you to like figure out what makes you tick and what new dreams do you have that you want to fulfill and chase. And so yeah, it feels really good to hear that actually.
When my daughter was an infant and colicky, I remember I was in the throes of, postpartum, whatever, anxiety, depression, whatever you want to call it, just mental turmoil dealing with this, baby who was relentlessly screaming 24/7. And my mom was like, by the time, like embrace it. I know it sounds so crazy when you're in it to have somebody you just want to smack me across the face and like, what do you mean? Like, embrace this, enjoy this. Like, are you crazy?
Right.
Yeah.
But she was like, when you're in it, I know it feels all encompassing and overwhelming and hard, and it is. It's not to not validate all of those things. But before you know it, it passes and you'll find little nuggets of that season that you miss. So just embrace the roller coaster that it is, because then before you know it, you solve the colic issue and she moves out of that and you're like, cool. I'm sleeping. Like, this is okay. We got it. I got to hold on this. And then the next, thing is thrown at you and you're like, all right, never mind. We're figuring it out again. Yeah, it's wild. It's just an evolution. And same thing with you. I think when I got pregnant, I was on a TV show. It was the first TV role that I'd had since 90210. It was like a big deal to me. And I was playing an adult on television for the first time in my life because I had played teenager.
That's crazy.
Forever.
Yeah.
And then, I figured, oh, I'll just like have like a full-time nanny and I'll just be on set. And like that's the kind of mom that I could envision myself being at that time. And then I had my daughter and I was like, oh shit, I don't want to go back to set for 14 hours a day. I don't want to only be a physical present parent to my kids on weekends when there's also laundry to do and post office runs to do and groceries to get and all the things. It just wasn't actually how I envisioned it once it was there. And again, then I was like hands-on mom, 24/7, like just doing all the things. And I was like, God, if I could see me now in my 20s, like there is no way in hell I would have pictured this to be the kind of mom that I am. And now the kids are in school and I've got that space again. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe the world wouldn't end if I, pursued this or went and did that job. Maybe we could figure it out. So yeah, it's ever evolving.
You're talking and I'm like 5 and 8 and I have a almost 2-year-old and almost 4-year-old. So I'm like doing the math of like, when am I there? And I can start thinking about myself again and like what I want to do in this next season. But what does that look like? You're saying you have these dreams and you have this space to kind of imagine what's next. Like you're so busy, you're content creating like a beast. Your clothing company is like a slam dunk. So like what else is on the list?
With the clothing business, it was one of those things where, first of all, there's like no money in clothing, period, until you're like freaking massive.
Right.
But I don't even know then if there's anybody really. It's a total passion project, absolutely. But that for me was just something to kind of use my passions and my creativity again in a way beyond creating, 20-second videos on Instagram. 2024, we started it. And it like sort of snowballed and was like, oh shit, maybe there's actually customers that like would want to buy these things. Like maybe this could actually be a thing. So that's kind of where that's at, of trying to now navigate, okay, how do we turn this into like some passion fulfilling, not even a side hustle. I feel like that's too generous to what we kind of intended it to be, into a viable business. So that has a lot of moving parts. For me with the content creation, I like wrote you mentioned it. I started a YouTube series. I just posted the second one yesterday. It's very brand new, but I've wanted to, I've got bucket list items like a podcast, maybe whatever, like, I don't know, format is kind of irrelevant, but I've wanted to do something longer form for a long time. I have always wanted to do hosting and things like that forever.
Okay.
You'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you. I would love to create opportunities for myself as myself. I think when you spend so much of your like formative years portraying fictional characters and building this relationship with an audience that doesn't even feel like it was really mine to own, that was very not frustrating is not the right word, but it just felt like imposter syndrome. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I
oh, you
bet.
love me, but like it's not at all me. I didn't create the character. I brought it to life. Like there's a part of me in that. But yeah, that's always been something that I've wanted to do. And I just got so terrified of like public opinion. It's a scary thing. A lot of actors I've spoken to don't feel super comfortable being themselves on camera because if somebody doesn't like it, when you're playing a fictional person, you can kind of be like, okay, but like
Yeah.
when people criticize the way that you look or whatever, like certain superficial things that you can be detached from, it doesn't affect me. My skin got thick during that whole 90210 era. But when it's like a criticism on your character, like that, like I can't not take it so deeply personally. And I can't not want to like rally and explain myself or provide more context or, whatever, apologize if something I said unintentionally offended somebody. It gives me a lot of anxiety. You can see it in my like body right now. And I think I've finally reached the age, all my fucks have left the basket. Like I'm getting too old. I'm too old to give a shit anymore. And like YOLO, like if I don't do it now, then I'm never going to be able to start taking these things off of my bucket list. That's where I'm at. Eventually, yes, I would love to write a book. I would love to, do all of the things, have hosting opportunities as myself, build Two Halves, maybe, hopefully, into something that has anyone other than me working for it so that I don't have to
Oh,
do all of the things, all
we
of
feel that.
oh, like that's the dream, guys.
Mhm.
That's it,
Like an assistant, just like a one employee.
I just committed to myself to launch a new business this year too, which is exciting. And maybe when that comes to fruition, you guys can have me back and I can
Yes.
talk
Ooh,
about
we'd love to.
it.
Wait, what
Yeah.
space is it in?
It's in the beauty space. So it's been an idea that I've had for like 2, 3 years, something I'm super passionate about. And I mean, I was raised my whole career, really relied on somebody outside of myself saying, yeah, we think you're good enough. We'll give you this shot. So it's really like tricky for my brain to process like creating opportunity for myself. It's the path that I'm passionate about taking. It's what's veered me away from all of these other avenues that my life has gone in the past and could have continued to go. But it's really scary to do that. And so it's taken me a long time to just kind of, yeah, again, YOLO. It's like if I
Yeah.
don't do it now, then when
Yeah.
will I do it? And
The
I
fucks
don't
have left the
want
basket.
That's the name of your book, I think.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
At
like
least
it.
chapter one.
Okay, wait, you mentioned the beauty space and that's the business that you are ready to like launch something in. You've also been so open about your rosacea and your skin, and especially in an industry that really like profits off of women not feeling like enough and being like, you need this, you need that. Was there a moment directly for you, I guess, that made you want to be more part of that conversation that was normalizing aging and non-perfect skin and wrinkles and
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, my audience on Instagram, the people that just provide this kind of like social commentary to your life all of the time, have like a funny way of highlighting things that you don't even process as positive attributes about yourself because they're just saying what they see. And when we're in it, we don't always see that. So it really was like, came for the style, stayed for the skin texture. And I was like, oh shit, I guess I wasn't like blowing out my, my content enough. It's given me confidence in the process. And I always, like, I have nothing against, any of it. I'm like, do what you want to do. That's number one for me.
Totally.
Is that I just want women to feel like they don't need permission to make choices for themselves. You
Mm,
feel pressured to not get Botox and you don't need to feel pressured to get Botox. Just do what you want. And I think seeing myself aging naturally and the positive feedback that that was getting from the kind of people that I wanted to have community with gave me more like, all right, let's see how long we can go here. Like, let's just, because why not? I'm a punk rock kid at heart, you know what I mean? And if I have an opportunity to like stick it to the man, I'm gonna take it. And this is one of those things. It has nothing to do with like some moral issue with the, Botox or whatever. Most of my girlfriends have, I'm like, girl, oh, you look amazing. But I,
I
I
love Botox.
Yes, I'm like,
Me too.
I do too, as like a fan, I'm
Yeah.
like out here, I love it. I have no issue with it. But for me, I'm like, it's a kind of a fun challenge to
Mm.
still love yourself and show up on camera with your 11s and I'm
Yeah.
still here and I'm taking up space. And if it gives other women more confidence to stick it to the man and take up space at all ages, like I'm happy. I'm happy to be some teeny tiny little small part of that. Like that gives me purpose. Who knows? I'm like never say never. Maybe it'll be my 40th birthday present to myself. I don't know.
Yeah.
But for now, we're rocking with the wrinkles.
You don't have any wrinkles, but we need more perspective like you. And I do think we need more messaging like that. Like, do what makes you feel good and don't feel like you have to do all these things to look X, Y, and Z. And I don't know, I look at some, young women today and I'm like, you are so beautiful the way
Mhm.
that you are. And we need more, yeah, messaging like that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like there is no should,
There's no should.
When you were talking about being punk rock, I was thinking immediately about your Instagram bio, suburban mom with an anti-suburban mom aesthetic. I was like, you're
Yeah.
such a badass. And that perfectly describes your page. But I also love, like you said, you don't have wrinkles. You're
You
beautiful.
don't.
My God. But you make a point to say no filter.
Mhm.
And you are raising a little girl.
Mhm.
So is there intention behind that?
I try. I think I was instinctually just a really like defiant kid. My mom always said, what people didn't get about you is that you just needed to understand the why. To me, respect for authority was not an expectation. It had to be earned. And so I was defiant in nature, but only until someone actually took the time to explain the why. And if I, could wrap my brain around it and it felt rational and logical, then cool, if it made sense for the best interest of myself and everyone around, then we're good. Otherwise, I'll challenge you. And then as the years went on and my whole experience in Hollywood and with press and PR, and it was like traumatizing. And definitely encouraged me to just go inside a box and tie a pretty bow on it. And, it's been a lot of unlearning since that point. And for my daughter, I'm raising her. She's a California kid in the South. There's a culture shock for us, definitely over the past few years. So little things that might not even be top of mind in other places are really top of mind here. And like I'm from Toronto, so it's just like a totally different world that we're navigating in real time. One of the things, I mean, it's on our t-shirts on Two Halves, like stay weird. That came because it's something that we've said to my daughter since she was itty bitty. And it's something that she now already 6, 7 years old really started to like believe in her core. Like she enjoys being different from other people. She loves it.
Mm.
She loves looking at kids in school because she would come home and she would say, I said I liked this color. And then, the boys said that like only boys like that. And I looked at her and I said, Bo, you're talking about a color. Does it make sense to you that a color would be only girls could like that color, only boys could like, does that make sense? Logic. And she was like, no, it's a color. I'm like, precisely. So next time somebody says something like that to you, you go, how sad and strange for them. My son is like a little real punk rock. I mean, he likes the heaviest music. This kid is wild. Yeah. Like, Mohawk since forever. And he's just like such a dude. And he, has grown up watching a lot of like pop punk music videos and all of this stuff. And he's Good Charlotte's like number one fan now. That's like
Oh,
his favorite band.
Wait, I love
And
that.
and
yeah.
he
Like,
sees like the spikes with the leopard print hair dye and the nail polish. So he loves to get his nails painted when he feels like it, because I'm always doing my nails at home. And he went into school, he's almost 5, went into school, had like black and red nail polish on. He came home and he said, Mommy, like so and so asked me, why do I have my nails painted? Because only girls get their nails painted. And I was like, well, that's not true, because you've seen so and so from that band and so from that band. Like, that's why you liked it and why you picked those colors and everything. And he's like, yeah, I know. And I was like, if you feel more comfortable, I'm happy to, I'll take it off for you. And he goes, why? I love it. I was like, great. Like, we're doing our jobs then. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
people have opinions, and I just want to give my kids the inner confidence to not adhere to those parameters that the world will be
Mm,
so determined to nail down for you as truth. There's so many influences, and right now there's so little still. So we get to be really strong influences in their life. I'm fucking terrified of like the high school years and all the rest of it.
same,
As
same.
much as I can like really build this strong foundation for them, my hope and my prayer is that they just can maintain that as they move through elementary, middle school, high school, and those years.
You're
You're doing a
doing,
great job.
I was just gonna say, you're doing such a good job because
Yeah.
that is our number one job as parents is to like help our kids figure out what their identity is and to critically think for themselves and to like feel confident in who they are. So kudos to you because that you are doing such an amazing job. You did say that your time in Hollywood was like traumatizing. I don't know why that like struck me for a second. And so, if your daughter did want to go into acting, would you kind of like protect her from that world or like what part was, I guess, so traumatizing?
I think there was a lot of parts that were really kind of like just shook
Mm,
whatever that foundation was that I walked into it with. But of course, you want to support your kids in like anything that they want to do and you want to whatever. But I would strongly advise she considered other paths, at least until she was older and like really had a strong handle on herself and who she was and what she wanted. Because I think I just entered that world at a time in my life where I was still far too fragile to be exposed to just the push and pull
you
that
were
was.
so young.
Yeah, I was, and I think like when people say I wasn't like a child star, like some of these Disney kids, they've, been on these shows and experienced such a crazy height of fame at 8 years old. Like I can't even imagine that
Right.
experience and how
But
that would have
still, you
me.
Yeah.
were a teen.
Yeah, yeah. I was, 18 when I got 90210 and moved to LA. I was 13 or 14 when I started Degrassi. So, Degrassi was a different experience. It was a professional experience, which is abnormal for a person that age, but the fame element was like not part of that chapter of my experience. So it really was like just that 5 years on 90210, that whirlwind was
I
wild.
mean, it was literally 90210 and Gossip Girl. Like
Yeah.
that, like you, like that was it. Like
Yeah.
I think about, yeah, you, Blake, Anna Lynn McCord. I'm like, wow, you guys really, really probably went through it in like degrees that we never even could
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, it was just, yeah, jarring on so many different fronts. And I think, yeah, I wouldn't wish that on any young woman, really. Like I really wouldn't. I think there was, it's given me a lot of wild stories that I get to tell my kids one day. And that is super fun. And I love that I got to experience it because as a young child, I aspired to it like so deeply with every bone in my body. I glamorized fame and all those girls. Like Paris and the Olsons and Lindsay and Nicole, like all that whole era was everything. And the fact that I then, maybe not to the degree that they experienced, but to a small fraction of the degree, I got to kind of walk in their
You
footsteps
did.
for a hot minute,
Yeah.
was like beyond surreal, and all of my wildest childhood dreams come true until it wasn't. You know what I mean? So it is fun that I kind of got to check that off the list and never have to wonder, oh,
What
what if
if?
that was me? You know,
You
what
did
if I
it.
was on the cover of Us Weekly? What if, Perez Hilton was drawing white stuff on my face? I
Can you believe that that was like a
No.
thing?
You grew up like in the industry in the gnarliest
Yeah.
period of the tabloids. They were mean.
Mean.
And you
Like
talk,
awful.
yeah, like truly looking back, I'm disgusted that I consumed that content,
Same.
that I didn't recognize how awful it was. And you've said that you had to do some unlearning. And I'm wondering if you're comfortable talking about like what unlearnings you've had to do from that.
When you're and it could have evolved so much from then, right? Because now we have social media. So there's a lot more control over your own narrative now than there was then. So my hope for the young women and women of any age in it is that they do feel like more autonomy over their image and the way that they're treated and their, career opportunities and all of that. That's my hope. I don't know. But at that time, you have this whole team around you. And when you get a bit of success, and you want it too, I mean, some people, I wanted it. I wanted more opportunities. You're on the teen drama now. Okay, that's really exciting. And then everybody's like, I want to win the Oscar one day. And I want to, right? And then you get told, like, okay, you got to talk like this. You got to dress that. And like, you got to wear that on the carpet. You got to hire this stylist. You got to hire that publicist. You got to do your makeup like this, do your hair like that. Don't swear. Don't do that, and so much of who I am, what my aesthetic is, how I present, just like did not fit the guidelines of what a successful starlet should be. And nobody ever looked at me point blank and said, like, what you are is bad, but there was enough attempts to shape shift me into something that was very different from me that gave me the impression that how I was, who I was inherently not good. Therefore,
Jeez.
so it definitely has taken me the rest of my lifetime, to finally kind of get to a place where I'm like, it's not good to some people, and those people aren't my people. And if I don't ever show up true to myself 1,000,000,000%, then my people are not being given the opportunity to find me because I'm not there.
Yeah.
I'm hiding, and I still do it. I mean, one of my good friends, Chris Medina, shout out, psychic medium dude ever. I spoke to him a couple months ago, as I do like once a year when I'm spiraling. And he was like, listen, bitch, like I'll tell it to you straight. Like, you need to stop. Like, I saw you on this podcast and I saw this clip of you, and I was like, who is that? And then he was like, I saw a video of you. I was watching Scream 4, and I had like a little cameo in Scream 4. And he was like, said to his best friend, Jay, who's his manager who he lives with, and he like he was watching it and he was like, that's crazy. That girl looks so much like Shenae. And Jay was like, because it is. And he was like, and then I had this like visual of you on that podcast from that clip that I had seen not long ago. And I was like, whoa, that's the Shenae that showed up to that interview, was actor Shenae, who was being so conditioned to present a certain way that was really restricting like so much of who I know her to be. And he was like, I'm gonna tell you right now, like, you're not going to move forward. You're not going to have the trajectory that you want or like fulfill your purpose or potential if you keep doing that, if you keep like hiding behind whatever because it feels more comfortable. Because for me, it was always like the word likable, like haunted me in younger years, right? Like I played very likable, even if You didn't like them. They were the likable, the relatable
Right.
characters.
Mhm.
And I just like wasn't that girl. I wasn't like the girl next door vibes, like
Yeah.
that's
So
not
funny.
my energy. And so it was like, you want to come across like likable. You got to like da 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 and be more sophisticated and whatever. And even I'm like, now I'm a grown ass woman. I can be as unsophisticated as I want.
Yeah.
I can, I can be the mom who, swears and has crazy nails and whatever. So it's been a lot of unlearning like that. A lot.
Oh,
Yeah, geez. What that
good for you
must do
for
to like, yeah, a young girl's psyche, but then to come out the other end and be like, this is who I am, love me or don't. Like that is such a good,
We're
strong
getting
message. We're getting there. We're all getting there, right? Like that is such as life. So you said they kind of condition you and like not necessarily like groom you, but they want you to be like, do they like me? Do they, am I the girl next door? Do you feel like after a teen actress becomes a mom, that the industry treats them differently?
I don't know. As an actor, a lot of the time, especially in my experience where I had these like real heights of career at such an early age, I remember going to an audition, one singular audition when I was pregnant with my daughter, my firstborn. And I remember calling my mom after I left and I was like, oh my gosh, I am having like this revelation right now. Like, I don't give a flying fuck. If I book that part, I don't care what they thought about me. And I smashed it. Like I was able to like completely disconnect from like the results of and that the desperation for validation that like I think
Right.
every actor just like lugs with them into every room. And because I didn't care. And so I was just able to like be fully out of body and commit to that experience and whatever. Didn't get a call back, nothing, whatever. But I knew that like I just did one of like the best performances. I also feel so great that I know I have like so much more purpose than whatever the hell that project was that I don't even think ever got made. But when you're in that moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, please give me a shot. This is everything. This means everything. And it felt so liberating to just know that I had a purpose beyond career because the value that I held to so many people in my world was dependent on what the last hottest thing that I did was career wise.
Mhm.
That's unlearning, right? There,
Yes.
yeah.
there's a whole other layer of unlearning that I've had to do, tying my self-worth to accolades and impressive, cool shit, basically, because that's what every friend, well, oh, I know so and so. Oh, can you get me into here? I heard Hillary Duff talk about it recently. She said, I was always measuring everything that I did. This like wild high. I mean, hers astronomical high, and you're always measuring against that. So that's it's an awful way to walk through life. Like it's so hard. It's such a burden to bear when you're constantly weighing everything up in your own head and then using that formula to determine, what is my self-worth equal then. So that was huge for me in becoming a mom, was just feeling like I had value. This little nugget didn't give two flying fucks if I was going to be, if I just won an Oscar or if I was doing a McDonald's commercial or if I never acted again. Like she did not care. She would never care, because
Right.
all I was to her was mom. And that's what it taught me from the industry's perspective. I don't know, I think women get treated differently the older they get. That's a definite.
But you hit the nail on the head. And we talked about this with a guest recently. Like, as women, we're always chasing these like outside accolades and like things to make
Validation.
us, yeah, that like aren't, that are external. It's amazing when you become a mom, you're like, nothing else effing matters.
Yeah. For me, and it's going to be different for everybody. My mom was like the best mom ever. If I could be a fraction of the mother that she is one
Mm.
day, like I'll be doing all right. And then you have kids, and then you become the age that like my mom will always be in my mind, mid to late 30s, like
Yes.
that is
So
the
real.
it's like she is frozen in time at that age in my
Yeah.
brain. And all of a sudden, you are your mom's age, hopefully, right? And I look at her now and I'm like, damn, mom, like as your kid that you sacrifice literally everything for. And there's a lot of overcompensating on her parenting journey for the other half in the equation.
Oh.
She sacrificed so much and compromised so much of who she is that I think she really lost a lot of, and she wouldn't be mad at me for saying this. I've said it to her and she knows. And I'm like, I want more for you as your kid who like loves
Mm.
you more than anything in the whole wide world. Now that I'm old enough to see it from a different lens, like I want more for you. I wish that she had taken up more space
Oh.
as an individual. And I want to show my kids that too. And I know that that will require certain sacrifices in their experience, but I want to do it so that if that day ever comes for my daughter and she decides she wants to have kids and is able to have kids, I want her to feel from day dot that she has permission to
Mm.
still live her life fully in her own experience.
I don't
Evolution.
know why that makes me emotional.
I know.
It's funny when you become a mom, there's a new appreciation for your own mom that you just can't experience until you're walking in those shoes. I do want to talk about your marriage a little bit because you guys have been together a decade plus,
Yeah, yeah,
and you work together.
yeah.
I could literally never.
It's a shit
Raising
show sometimes. I mean,
raising my
not all
children.
sunshine and rainbows over here.
But what is the secret sauce for you guys?
We really are best friends. Like, and that doesn't mean that we like each other the most 24/7. It means that we like each other the most, like, period, if that makes any sense.
It
It's like
does.
we
Yeah.
just like I like him better than any other human being that I've come into contact with, except me, he's got a competition now, our two
Yeah.
kids. Other than that, it's like I do, and vice versa. And we are each other's safe space. Like we know that we just have each other's back 1,000,000%. And so even when we like have moments and uh,
Yeah.
you know that like if anybody else came for him or you know what I mean? I'm like, you got to get through this little Irish Italian first. Like, and that's just the way that it
Yeah.
is. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think it's that. Like when we first got married, we were super young. I mean, I was he was young too for a guy who was very young.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
26,
Yeah.
so like mentally like 20.
Yeah.
No, we were really young and we would ask people that had been married for like, 50 years, what's the secret?
Yeah.
Why is this still working? And they just said like find a way to laugh every day, be best friends because everything else it's like it's all seasons and that's kind of what we always come back to. And we have a lot of like common interests too, which keeps it fun. I can't imagine, there's so many like marital dynamics where I'm like the girls trip and and the guys go play golf and the girls go and do that and they have like nothing in common. I'm like, I can't even, we do everything together because we love all the same stuff. We love fashion and we have the same taste and we love music and we love like traveling and we love so much of the same stuff. So it's like just having a best bud for life to like go and explore as much as possible while we're here.
This is like so cheesy, but there's a Taylor Swift lyric that's like, find someone who's your best friend that you also think is hot. And
Yeah,
it's like,
That
it's
helps.
actually that simple.
that's it.
On your Instagram, you posted this thing. You said, look like you didn't have a baby, but parent like you don't have a life outside of them. Do you think that women are more afraid of being judged for how they look postpartum? or how they parent?
How they parent. I really do. I think the older you get, again, like the fucks slowly start exiting the basket, right? For me, like how I look is like the least interesting thing about me. I glance in the mirror if I'm washing my hands, like that is not the thoughts that are like spiraling in my head in the middle of the day.
Well, there's no
Ever.
time. There's literally
No.
there's no time to even, I'll go
No.
until like 12 o'clock and be like, I don't think I brushed my hair today, like most days.
Or
Yeah,
teeth.
I think there are changes that happen to our body from pregnancy that are like forever. But I do think that we're finally starting to realize that. Like in my head, I never comprehended that my body was going to change indefinitely. Like there was
Same.
no going back. Like there is no reversing. There is no like, oh yeah, work out enough and then like you look like you used to. No, there are permanent changes to our bodies and our brain chemistry
Yeah.
that are irreversible. And that's all part of it. And I feel fortunate that I don't live in a place where I think about that, spend too much energy thinking about that. I think it's also less about like how we parent specifically. I think I spend more time thinking about that guilt, the guilt of the juggle between parenting and being a mom and having my own identity.
Mhm.
And that is like the most universal experience, I think, of all the mom friends that I have is this
Yeah.
whole like season of matrescence is what they call it, whack a label on it. People don't really talk about that part, this like full-blown identity crisis you will have
Uh-huh.
during your season of early motherhood, or if you don't move through it at that point because you just fully immerse yourself into mom mode, then the kids leave the house and suddenly, you don't even recognize your body changes aside. You're looking in a mirror. You don't have the constant distraction of managing the lives of the other people living in your house. And that to me is like super scary. Like I want to look forward to, my mom always said this to me. She was like, my most important job as your mom is to like, she had sadness and loneliness and misses us 100%. But she was like, if you have wings strong enough to fly, then I have done my job. Oh, that made me just like,
I know.
like that's it. I want to like do everything I can to just like make my kids' wings so strong that they soar and they don't look back. And I don't want to get to that point. Have done my fucking job as best as I can and then turn around and be like, well, what the hell do I do with the rest of the time I've got left? Like, who am I? Navigating that is like what I spend most of my time thinking about in this motherhood season is like, how much am I allowed to like think about myself? How much am
Mm.
I allowed to want for my own life? How much time am I allowed to spend pursuing things, building things for myself so that I have somewhere to land too when they fly? And that's tricky. It's tricky.
Girl,
I'm
I'm
I
a
am.
little weepy right now because yes,
TBT. I
that
don't
that's
know.
also why we started this podcast, is because so much of our identity was wrapped up in motherhood and like taking pauses and life changes and all the things at once, and then feeling like, what are we gonna have, and like what can we have, and what also can like help my family later but give me something to, feel passionate. Yes, all the things that you're saying, I am
Yeah.
agreeing
You,
with. I am
and
Yeah.
thank
seeing
you.
you fully.
Yeah, and thank you for saying it because you're right. That is the most universal experience that mothers have. So thank you for saying it because it makes us feel seen,
Oh,
for sure.
God, it's such a shared experience, and there's so many things. I think that's what I've like kind of gotten clarity on is like one of my greatest passions is like if you just say it first, we can feel like the village that we need for each other,
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Something I love that you talk about a lot is making your younger self proud of you. And
Hmm.
it's something I think about a lot when I lose sight of what I'm doing and how cool it is or whatever. I always say, like, 12-year-old Hallie would lose her mind to know that this is the life I live.
Hmm.
Do you think 13-year-old Shenae is proud of you?
I don't know if she had the wherewithal to be proud of the woman I am today, but I love that I got to do the thing that I know she would have been like so stoked on. And I think I'm getting to a place that she needed. I think, when I was 13, I had all those big hopes and dreams and goals. But I also had a really rocky childhood that left me feeling incredibly unstable. I was basically, I had insomnia through my whole like junior high and high school experience. I could not sleep. I was riddled with anxiety, all of these things. And I go to bed at night, and whether, my husband's on a work trip or he's there, like my eyes close and I feel peace. I fall off to sleep. That in and of itself is a huge win for that 13-year-old that never thought she would be able to lie down at night in silence and fall asleep, period. Because my mind was constantly racing and in fear. That's huge. I'm where she needed to be. And I think, yeah, that on paper might not look as enticing to her, to 13-year-old her, pop culture obsessed Shenae at 13.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, she would be grateful. Grateful, maybe more than proud, but yeah.
Such a good word is grateful. This is our last question then, just kind of on what you said, and if your younger self would like feel proud of you, I guess. Do you have a message for all the moms listening who might be going to sleep with anxiety, or even the non-moms who listen who might have, a hard time feeling at peace at night? Like what would you say to them?
Oh my goodness. I believe that I said to my girlfriend the other day because she was spiraling, and I was like, listen, like we all have those moments, you know what I mean? The world is fucking terrifying.
Yep.
And we have days where the overwhelm gets the better of us, and we shout at our kids, or our kids say, hey, I wish I had a different mom. My son went through this season
Oh my
a
God.
couple weeks ago. I wish I had a better mom, and I'm like, oh man, I'm failing. And I was like, but you know what? The fact that we care enough that it's keeping us up at night is a testament to us being great mothers. And we're doing our jobs, and we're doing our jobs a hell of a lot better than most because we care to do our best. I think that will get our kids pretty far. That anxiety and those nights where you spiral on all the ways that you could have done better, done this differently or whatever, really just like a testament to your character, and something to be admired and feel good about. And every day is just a new opportunity.
I love it. I needed to hear that. I was up last night too, and so that made me feel like
That
doom
was a question
scrolling. Yeah,
for
that was
Katie.
for me because I'm in that right now. So thank you for
Oh.
saying that.
Thanks for hanging out with us on Between Us Moms.
Don't forget to follow us for more mom content and good conversations on all the socials.
We're also on Substack and have a newsletter filled with tips, tea, meal ideas, and mom stuff you won't want to miss.
And we've got a secret Facebook group to connect and talk even more.
Go find us.